Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Emily if you're new here. If you're not, thanks for stopping by. This is Bookmas Day 5 here and we are prepping for 2026. I feel like with all of my past couple of videos, it's been prepping for now, talking about the last month of reads, discussing December reads, and discussing my favorite books of 2025. And now it is time to look forward to 2026. And in one of my videos I had teased that something different may be coming for this channel for next year, and that is we are doing a TBR cart and a TBR jar, and I plan on doing the TBR jar every single month and trying to go through my physical TBR with the help of the cart. To do all of that, we have to prep everything. So we have the cart here that I got from Amazon, and it's over on the counter unfortunately. And then I have a jar, and I have done some research on what kind of prompts I would like. I think I have 65 or 70 prompts. I'm not 100% certain, but I do plan on doing roughly 5 a month. But the plan is to do roughly 5 prompts a month for minimum. I think with 4 weeks in a month, planning one of those for a week I think is best. I'm really hoping this helps me reach my goal for next year. I did set the high goal of 80 and the low goal of 70. I did 65 this year so far, and that is with like 3 months of no reading. And so I think with the TBR jar, I can kind of at least schedule a book a week to kind of make sure that I'm getting at least 52 books into the year. So we're gonna start by building this guy, and then we will go through the prompts. Okay, cart done, wheels working. Took way longer than expected because I think my bottom shelf is bowed or bent. It made it a little bit hard to get all the screws in, but we're all done. I need to even out the wheels a little bit because I need to just level it out real quick. But otherwise, the cart's done. So up next, we need to set up the TBR jar. I am just using a mason jar. I didn't want to go out and buy a new one. Oh my god. So for prompts, I mostly used Pinterest, but I did take some inspiration from some other YouTubers, Jamie Falk, Ellen Reads, and Leah Crumpton. Her page is Lover of Pages, and I just used a few layers mixed in. So I have 72 prompts. I technically only need 60 if I want to do 5 a month. So I have a little extra, and I think I like that better than trying to force myself to finish. And I'm gonna give myself a little leeway where I think the first couple months I'm gonna allow myself at least 1 skip, maybe 2 depending on if it's like a mood that I'm in. I don't know, I haven't decided yet, but I think the first quarter, so January, February, March, I'm gonna allow myself to skip. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna read you guys the prompts that I picked, and then I'm going to write them down, cut them up, put them in the jar. But I at least want to tell you what I'm doing. And you're more than welcome to take anything off of here. We all need to help each other out here. So, number 1, a book you've been avoiding. A book you bought because of the cover. A book more than 500 pages. A book with stars on the cover. A book with a silhouette on the cover. A book with a bird or a feather on the cover. A book with a crown on the cover. A one-word book title. A book with a number in the title. The first book in a series. The final book in a series. A sports romance book. A book with a map. A debut book written by a new author, a book with an author you've never read before, a book by your favorite author, a book co-written by 2 authors, a book featuring spies, a book where a character is immortal, a book featuring a character with a disability, a book that matches the current season, a book set in a small town, a book set in a fictional kingdom, a spooky book, a dark romance book, a spicy romance book. And when I say spicy, I mean I'm gonna go through whatever's on my TBR, and whichever one has like the highest spice rating, that's the one we'll read. A book featuring magical realism, a romantasy book, a book with water on the cover, a book with a sword on the cover, a book with a color in the title, a book title longer than 5 words, a book with a man on the cover, a book with a woman on the cover, a book with a skull on the cover. We're doing a lot of just cover stuff. I've mentioned this before where I don't really read the whole synopsis of a book or the blurb because I kind of want to go in blind, and I feel like sometimes those blurbs are starting to give away the story, like the whole story. So I decided to do a lot more based off the looks of books. A Second Chance Romance, and Enemies to Lovers, the last book that was recommended to me, read the next book in a series, a book with flowers on the cover, a book that starts with the first letter of my name, so for me that's E. This is one of my favorites. Read an author who blurbed your favorite book. You know how like when you get a book it'll say like amazing, passionate, everything you've ever wanted, and then it says an author's name on your favorite book? You grab one of the authors that say that and then you read one of their books. A book with magic, the last book you bought, a book that has won an award, a book that was recently released, a book with a name on it, and by a name I mean like someone's name is in the title of the book, a book with illustrations, a book that became a film or a show, a book from a little free library. I have a book that Chris picks out for me, and then the last 10 are a book that is predominantly one color, so a book that is mostly red, a book that is mostly orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, pink, brown, black, and white. And those are my prompts. We are going to write them down. I'm going to put my hand through hell. I think I'm just going to fold the paper in half, cut down the middle, and then write 2 on each side and get going that way. Wish me luck. Those are all done, and then I did actually make a few other ones that came to mind while I was writing them out. I have Friends to Lovers, Reread a Favorite. I did, so I have the books that's a book that starts with E, because it's the letter of my first name, and I decided to do one that says, there's 3 of them, so there's a book that starts with T, a book that starts with B, and a book that starts with R for TBR. That was funny. I did a college romance because I have a ton of them, and I have honestly haven't picked one of those up. I don't think I've read a college romance since like June. I did a classic literature one because I have some of those special editions. I have like Frankenstein, Sherlock Holmes, The Scarlet Letter. I think I have Emma. No, I have Persuasion, I think. Is that what it is? And then there's another one that I can't remember. Pictures of Dorian Gray, I think. Yeah, but I kind of want to read those ones because I really want to read Frankenstein or The Scarlet Letter. I did a cowboy romance because I have a ton of cowboy romances. And then the last one I have is one of my 26 of 2026. I believe the next video I'm going to post is going to be me making my 26 of 2026 of the 26 books I want to read in 2026. And then I have some empty ones, just in case. So I'm going to fold all of these up and put these in the jar, and then I'm actually gonna call it a night. It is 10 p.m. and I have to work tomorrow, so I need to get to sleep and get ready for bed. So we're gonna fold these up, go to bed, and then tomorrow we are going to build. Why am I holding scissors? And then tomorrow we're going to build our physical TBR, which is going to be a majority of my bookcases, and we're gonna see how we're gonna organize it through importance into the cart. So I did come up with one in the middle of it, and that's read a duology. I think that's a fun prompt, because then it's like you get to read 2 books. I thought about maybe doing trilogy, but I feel like that might make it too many books that you have to read for the month. I think what I also might do is if I read my full TBR, especially in like the back half of the year, if I read my full TBR for the month, I might draw one more or just, you know, feel like drawing one more now that I have, what, that's probably almost 20 over, so I can get more. I might go through and re-fold these even smaller just to, well, no, maybe not, because then it won't stay full. But there's our TBR jar. She's kind of boring, but she'll do. That's all that matters. And I like not knowing what any of them could be, because like I've seen people do colors where like this color means a series, this color means a standalone. I just don't feel like doing that. But I'm gonna go put the cart, the jar, and the extra empty pieces up in the book nook, and we will see you tomorrow for our TBR creation. Good morning. We are barely awake, so a Celsius is needed. These Fizz-free ones just hit different. Okay, so we're gonna go shelf by shelf and we're gonna pick out this TBR. If I need to read a whole series, I'm only gonna grab book 1, because if I grab a whole series, it will take the entire thing off the shelf, and there's already going to be a ton of books coming off of this shelf. So I wanna make sure we don't have too many holes. We are also going to lay them on my little couch that I have over here, and then we will go from there. Uh-oh. I did not count any of that, but that's a lot. All right, 102 books. It's a little more than I thought. It really makes me want to read 2 to make it exactly 100, but then if I read some, I'm probably going to add more to it, so we're just going to start here. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to separate them by genre and series, like where they are in a series. A lot of them are going to be first in a series, and others will be standalones, but then I also kind of want to make it like fantasy on bottom, which I don't even know if they'll fit because this looks kind of small, but we're gonna separate them first. I'm just gonna tell you the titles and authors. I'm not gonna dive into them because that's gonna be way too long of a book video. I also have my phone so that I can decide if I can't figure out what it's gonna be, then I can look it up and see if I'm putting it in the right category. All right. You Should Have Come Here, Geneva Rose, 5 Total Strangers, Thursday Murder Club, The Housemaid, If He Had Been With Me. We have Twisted Secrets. This is the first book, I believe, in many. I think I have 3 and there's like 6 of them. Oh wait, this is book 3. Oops, I need to switch this out. I have the wrong book. Dark Succession by Katie Robert is the first book. Once You're Mine, Morgan Bridges, Her Soul to Take, Harley LaRue, Grimstone, Sophie Lark, Haunting Adeline, we all know what that is. A couple H.D. Carltons, because we also have Does It Hurt and Phantom. Caught Up, Nevessa Allen, and we have book 3 coming out next year, so I need to get that into. The Ritual, Chantal Tessier, Butcher and Blackbird, Bryn Weaver, and we also have Tourist Season. Be Spelled by Laura Talassa. This one I got out of Barnes & Noble recently. I think it's Magic and Schools. No, just Magic. Let me make sure that's book 1. Nope. Bewitched is book 1, so this is coming up. So we're down to 101. Whoops. Let's make sure this next one is book 1. Ay, ay, ay. Okay, this is book 1. Thrown in the Dark by A.K. Caggiano. Shark Heart by Emily Hayback. Filthy Rich Fae by Geneva Lee. A Dawn of Onyx by Katie by Kate Golden. Only in Your Dreams by Ellie K. Wild. Pucked by Helena Hunting. Hookshot, Kennedy Ryan. Oops, Longshot is first. I really need authors and publishers to start putting numbers on the side here because Longshot by Kennedy Ryan is first. Check In Mate, Allie Hazelwood. It's the only Allie Hazelwood book I have yet to read. Funny Feelings, Tara DeWitt. I don't think there's an order to these, but this is Lease on Love, Right on Cue, and Just My Type by Fallon Ballard. We have The Match, The Off Limits Rule, and When in Rome by Sarah Adams. The Long Game and The Spanish Love Deception by Elena Armas. Business or Pleasure by Rachel Lynn Solomon. The Dead Romantics, Ashley Poston. Playing Hard to Get, Monica Murphy. Wildfire, Hannah Grace. Spiral by Ball Cabra. A Not So Me Cute by Megan Quinn. Twisted Love, Anna Huang. Love Redesign, Lauren Asher. Out on a Limb, Next of Kin, Hannah Bonham Young. Fall I Want by Lyra Parrish. Unfortunately Yours by Tessa Bailey. Fangirl Down by Tessa Bailey. Under Lock and Key, Sadie on a Plate, Amanda Elliott. Any Trope But You, Victoria Levine. Would Like to Meet by Rachel Winters. Bryn and Sebastian Hate Each Other, Bethany Turner. You Again by Kate Goldbeck. Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping. The Roommate Pact by Allison Ashley. Dolly Alderton's Good Material. The Second Chance Year by Melissa Weisner. You Say It First, Katie Tugno. One Last Shot by Betty Kayeti. The Second Year Single, Kara Tanamachi. Arrogant Devil by R.S. Gray. Off to the Races by Elsie Silver. If It Makes You Happy, Julie Olivia. And then Soul Searching, Lila Sage. We have Vipers and Virtuous by Sav R. Miller. Sticks and Stones by S. Massery and S.J. Silvis. The Pucking Coach's Daughter by S. Massery. She's got two other series. Wicked Dreams, this is book 1 of The Fallen Royals. And Ruthless Saint, the DeSantos Mafia, book 1. Jennifer Lynn Barnes, Inheritance Games and The Naturals. Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. Servant of Earth, Sarah Hawley. Vicious by Vicky Schwab. We are also hopefully starting A Darker Shade of Magic by Vicky Schwab. Sword Heart by T. Kingfisher. The last one by Rachel Halsell Hall. Heartless Hunter, Kristen Ciccarelli. The Dagger in the Frame by Catherine Doyle. The Never List by Jade Presley. Immortal Dark, Tegas Gurma. The Stars Are Dying, Chloe C. Penaranda. We have Abigail Owens, The Game Gods Play. One Dark Kiss by Rebecca Zanetti. The Wolf King by Lauren Palfreeman. Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, V.E. Schwab. Consider Me by Becca Mack. Let's make sure that's number 1. I'm pretty sure I did, but yes, book 1. Wildcat by Rebecca Genshak. We have Dark Horse by Maggie Rodden. The Graham Effect by Elle Kennedy. Passion Project, London Sperry. The Favorites by Lane Fargo. Never Over by Claire Gilmore. One Star Romance, Laura Hankin. We Who Will Die by, I think it's Stasia Stark, not Stacia, or Stasia. I'm not sure. I've heard literally everybody say it different ways. Immortal Consequences by Ivy Marie. I had to put Twilight on here. We have Violet Thistlethwaite Is Not a Villain Anymore by Emily Kremfoltz. The Second Chance Cinema by Tia Weiss. Play Nice by Rachel Harrison. This one I actually started to read and I got a little too scaredy cat and I stopped at page 66 because I got too scared. I really want to finish it because one, this cover is really pretty and the story is just interesting. The Everlasting by Alex E. Harrow and Red City by Marie Lu. But that is 101 because I realized I had book 2, not book 1 of the series. So that one's out. So we're at 101. Very tempted to grab one of these and finish them so that we're just at 100 for next year. But we're also going to try and get this fit on my cart because I don't know if these are all going to fit. But I was kind of hoping they can fit like 2 this way. And I need to see if these will fit. Okay. Because I wanted to put fantasy at the bottom because they're heavier books. And they're a lot of hardcover books and a lot of book of the month books. So I'm going to try and sneak these all on here. Well, those are all going to fit. But I think what I'm going to do, this is my Christmas holiday shelf. And I definitely have room behind you that I can go. So I'm going to move all those over there, and these are going to be a continuous of my TBR. So I think I'm going to switch those around real quick to give me some room. Okay, so the rearranging officially is all the book of the months are right here, and then the other hardcovers are up here. While the cart is full, and I have it pretty easily set up. We have magic on the bottom, dark romances, romance, more romance, sports romance, and more kind of either dark romance or thriller. And with the romance on top, with this being like the front of the cart, so I have more of the one-off authors across the top, while the more known ones are in the back. So I would maybe feel more inclined to grab these ones. And then if I want to, I have a ton of stickers that I can add. Like I have these little tarot card looking ones that say the TBR. There's a ton of book stacks. This cute one with the little cat on it. And then some fun ones that say like, it's lit. I work to support my reading addiction. Introverted but willing to discuss books. Emotionally attached to fictional characters. They're just funny. So I kind of want to liven up these a little bit. But I think I'll do that on my own time. So with that, I'm going to end this video here. We've got 101 books. I'm not going to try and get through them all next year because obviously some stuff is going to be added because this doesn't even include all the books that are going to be released next year that I want to read. But I'm hoping to make a good dent in these, and we'll maybe make some videos of me trying to take down this massive list of books that I need to want to read. But that's it for this video. Thank you so much for sticking around. I really appreciate it. Like, subscribe, comment, do whatever you please, and I will see you on the next one. Bye!